Hi everyone, Jeffy here and welcome back to Around the World in Many Days. Today's episode is number 16 and it's titled Problem Solving in Freefall. So let's go and see what Gladys writes us this time. So here we go. Dear Puzzling, 10 clues in this crossword contain one extra letter which must be removed before solving. Based on the location of the removed letter, some cells must then be highlighted in the finished grid. The position of the word containing the extra letter in the clue gives the position of the first highlighted letter of the answer. The position of the extra letter in its word gives the number of successive letters to highlight. For example, if the extra letter is the second letter of the third word in the clue, highlight two letters of the answer starting from its third letter. Okay, let's stop there. So we're dealing with a variety crossword here. So we have these clues below, and we must remove one word from some of these clues, and then before they can be solved. And so let's see if, let's say, what can we remove? Let's say this E could be removed. So it would be on very vertical, this first clue here. Then it would be the third letter of the first word would be the removed one. So that would mean that we would start from the first letter of the answer, and we would be shading or highlighting three letters. So it would be, if this was the one, we would be highlighting this, this, and this. And we can do this highlighting at the very end. We can solve. We're going to have to figure out what the removed letters are, but we can do the actual highlighting at the very end. So we can find out the next part then. So let's look at the rest of the preamble then. Today I have visited a medieval stronghold built at a strategic location which now functions as a museum in a country I have never visited before. Yes, those still exist. Can you guess where I am? Love, Gladys. Okay, so we are looking at some sort of medieval stronghold. That is going to be our final answer here. And this is going to be a cryptic crossword with this extra rule that in some clues, was it 10 clues? In 10 clues, we have to remove one letter. And we have more than 10 clues. So some of these are going to be normal. These are, is this 17 clues? So 10 sort of variety clues and some normal ones. I'm going to open the editable grid now and we can start solving. So here we are. Start at the top left. So one very vertical line, perhaps a line on a meteorologist's map. And this is 6 letters. Where to start here? Perhaps a line on a meteorologist's map. Meteorologists might look at different kinds of maps. So this is going to be our definition here. And how you might pass the wordplay then is one very vertical line. This is just a charades with 3 components. One being the letter I. It can obviously be the letter A as well, but here it's I from the Roman numerals. It's going to be very, 2-letter word for very, and then a 3-letter word for vertical line. And that is going to form the answer. So very, if you are, let's say you're very annoyed, you can say you are so annoyed. So being a synonym for very. And a vertical line, a bar can be a vertical line. No, actually, take that back. Vertical line perhaps is a bar, because a bar can be, doesn't have to be vertical. Vertical bar is a vertical line. So vertical line perhaps that is an example of a bar. And a line on a meteorologist's map, question mark, is isobar. It's those lines that mark constant, is it constant pressure on a like a weather map. So isobar is the answer here. So that was just a regular clue. We didn't need to remove anything. And that gave us 3 of these crossing letters. So we're going to use them once again. We're going to go through this like you would normally solve it using these given letters that you get from the previous answers. So 2 down would be Bushman's been given promise of staying native of the New World. Been given something is a container indicator. Someone has been given something, so the given thing is inside uh, the thing that has been given it. So a short word for Bushman, and this is a 6-letter answer. So we need a short word for Bushman, starting with S, and put inside it the promise of Spain, and you would get native of the New World. Well, if you look up Bushman, the Sun people are sometimes called the Bushmen, spelled just like this, Sun. And a promise of Spain doesn't really say anything. But if we remove this S here, oops, I shouldn't highlight anything. Shouldn't select anything here again. Sorry about that. If we remove this S here, it's promise of paying, and there is an abbreviation for a promise of paying. That's IOU. If you're given an IOU, you're given a promise of payment coming later. And a Siouan is like a member of the Sioux. Siouan is a native of the New World. So we remove the S here. That's the first letter of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th word, and we get the word Siouan here. Now let's look at 3 down, and we're gonna have once we highlight the letters, we're gonna just have to remember what we removed, but I don't think that's going to be the issue. So 3 down, motorist bothered pirate kids in Elliot Heads. Now, Elliot Heads is a real place. It's in Australia. Kids in Elliot Heads could maybe be like an Australian term for kids. But here it's much simpler than that. It's actually the word heads is an indicator. The head letter of a word is its first letter. And this is a 5-letter answer. We have this B here, and that's already in the grid. So that would spell out BPKIA. BPKIE, sorry. So that would spell out this wonderful word here, bupki. Not sure if you realized, but that is actually not a word. So we're going to have to remove something from the clue to make a real word. And the letter that needs to be removed is this P here. So it's irate kids. Motorist bothered irate kids in Elliot Heads. And this is going to be an I then. A bikie is a slang term for motorist. A biker, bikie. Then we can look at 4 down as well. So here we are, partially surround gelders to show circular design, and we have an R at the start. To show is often like a connector. You do the wordplay to show the answer, which then would be circular design. Well, if this is the wordplay, there's a couple of indicators. Surround can mean you surround something with another thing. You put the surrounding thing around something. You put a word around the other word. But partially here is a very straightforward hidden word indicator. Partially look at these words. You look at one part from the inside. And there's an R here. So round, circular. Round means circular. So if we take 7 letters starting from this R here, we get roundg. Now that is not a word, so we're going to have to make some modification here. And removing this G would produce an actual word that would be elders. Partially surround elders to show circular design. And a roundel is like a circular mark or circular sort of thing that you can see on an airplane or something, a roundel. So that's going to be the answer. We had to remove the G there. A roundel. Now we have a lot of these across answers, not a lot of, but 3 across answers that we can get no further help for. So we should be able to solve this 5, 6, and 8 here. Let's look at 5 first. Ways to ward off an aggressive attacker for a Galilean-bearing child. Let's see. So something bearing something is something carrying it. So the child would be in the middle of the other word. And now a child is often son, but here it's kid, and kid fits here. So we would need 3 more letters, meaning a Galilean. And Galilee obviously is a place, but that's not what's being referred to here. The Galileans, apart from being an actual people, they are the moons that Galileo found, Galilean moons. And one of them is Io, I-O, moon of Jupiter. So kid inside AIO, and the A obviously is just this A here. A, then Galilean is Io, and that bears, that has inside it, kid, meaning child. And Aikido is a martial art that is ways to ward off an aggressive attacker. So that is how 5 across works, and we didn't need to remove anything there. Let's look at 6 then. In a Wachowski film, Che causes great destruction, taking too much work. Cinema, ultimately it's intoxicating. Now that is a long clue for a 5-letter answer. And maybe important is that there is no Wachowski film with Che Guevara in it that I know of. So something is happening there. If we remove this C, it could be he. So in a Wachowski film, he causes great destruction. And that is going to be a component that actually has an answer. There are people in Wachowski films that cause destruction. So he is going to be the modification we need here. And what else? Ultimately, obviously, you take the ultimate words, the ultimate letters, the last letters of words. So work, cinema, Ka fits this Ka. And at the end, since this is at the end, the wordplay would end here, and we would have, as the definition, we would have it's intoxicating. Can you come up with a 5-letter word that is intoxicating? Something that is intoxicating that fits here. That would be vodka. Now, how does that work? In a Wachowski film, he causes great destruction. That is one component, and that clues a single letter. That is the letter V. The character V from V for Vendetta. So that's a lot of words for just a single letter. Then taking too much is OD. If you OD, or OD is overdose. That is taking too much of something. And Ka, just the last letters of work, cinema. So vodka, defined by it's intoxicating. Then let's look at this. No, actually, I said we're not going to get any more help for this 8, but that's actually not true. We can solve this 9 and get some more help for that. Let's look at 7 at first. Fruit, one eaten by eking of dwarves. So something eaten by, a word eats another thing. The other word is inside the word. So eking of dwarves would be on the outside, and we would have 1 on the inside. It could be this I here, but isn't. In fact, this one is going to be a, like the indefinite article, a. Like I have a piece of fruit, I have 1 piece of fruit. That is, is a synonym of 1 in that sense. So also I misspelled roundel and I haven't realized at all. So that's not a D. So it's going to be N here. I spelled roundel there. Roundel is the word. It ends here, not here. So yeah, we have an N here at the end of this 7. Sorry about that. So we're going to put A around a 5-letter word meaning eking of dwarves. No, there is no word that I know that means eking of dwarves. But I do know a king of dwarves. If we remove this E here. So in The Lord of the Rings, there's a king of dwarves. Or is it in The Hobbit? The king of dwarves is Durin. It might be in both, actually. But definitely in the work of Tolkien, there's a Durin, like an old king of the dwarves, Durin, and that's the A here that is eaten by that word. And a durian is a fruit. So that's how that works. We remove the E here. Then we can look at 7 down, starting with D. So extreme case of despair. Charlie swallowed swine from Italy. Now, case of something. The case of a word is its first and last letters. So you remove all the other things and just leave the case of the word. It can also be like a frame or something like that, or skin. Many words for that sort of outer layer of a word. Case is one of them. Charlie is a common word for just the letter C, which is from the international radio alphabet. You have Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and so forth. Charlie is the C. Swallowed by, swallowed. Charlie swallowed something, so has inside him something. So, and extreme can also be, an extreme of a word can be its first or last letter. But here it's not extreme of case. Extreme case can't really mean C or E. It would have to be case is extreme or extreme of case or something like that. So extreme can also be our definition here. And case of despair, if you look at the word despair, you get DR, and we have this D at the start. So DR, and then we can add DRC. So Charlie being the C, and that swallows something. So that swallows something, and we get an answer meaning extreme. Now, what's a swine from Italy then? Could it be the Italian word for a pig? Actually, we need to remove something here, and I don't know the Italian name for a word for a pig. Maybe I should have looked it up before recording, but this is actually wine from Italy. We have to remove the S here. So one type of wine from Italy is Asti, ASTI, and that forms the word drastic when inside this DRC. So remove this S. Now then, let's look at 10 across. That looks promising because we have 2 letters already here. So it starts with N. Filmmaker Wachowski. So we have a repeat of this Wachowski here. Filmmaker Wachowski turned out to be obsessed with accuracy. Now there are 2 filmmakers named Wachowski. One of them is Lily, who is not relevant here, and the other is Lana. And Lana, you turn that backwards, you get obsessed with accuracy. If you're anal, you are obsessed with accuracy. So anal is the answer there. 11 down. Let's look at that one. That starts with A. And again, this was just a straight answer. We didn't remove anything there. 11. So the last down answer. Bone from a Polynesian capital that's like a bee. Bees are apians. That's like the term for shaped like a bee. You're shaped like a bee. Something shaped like a bee is apian. And how does that work then? This is a double definition for apian. And Apia is the capital of Samoa. So that is a person from Samoa is apian. And that's not Bone from a Polynesian capital, but that's one from Polynesian capital. Someone from from a Polynesian capital. So one from a Polynesian capital. So remove the B here and we get apian, definition for apian. Now then, let's look at, how about this 8 across? Join lewd production. Very short clue. So production can mean you take the letters, the previous letters, and you make a production out of them. You work them in some way. You anagram them. You put them in a different order. So if you put the word lewd in a different order, well, there's only one way to do it. Obviously, it's not going to be this L because it would be the same word. So it's going to be this W and L here. And to weld is to join. And also a weld is a join, I think. No, a join. No, it's not. But to weld is to join. So it works as a verb. Yeah, I don't think a join is a noun. But yeah, as a verb it works. Then 9 down, we have something starting with L, 6 letters. Award for old film star. An award, a laurel, is an award, and Stan Laurel was an old film star. So this is just a plain double definition for laurel. Now 12 across looks promising because we only need 2 letters here. So let's see. Dead is overcome by crazy lust for Anatolian preacher, and this is 2 words, 2 and 4. An Anatolian preacher is going to be Saint Paul. So how does that work? Crazy lust is crazy can be an anagram indicator if you have the word lust and it's crazy. It's in the wrong order or in an unexpected order. So it's going to be these 4 letters here, STUL, and something is overcome by that. So PA doesn't mean dead, but it does mean dad. Your pa is your dad, PA. And if you remove this E here, you get dad is overcome by crazy lust for Anatolian preacher. And that gives us Saint Paul. So the E was the extra letter there. So then 13. After liberation, he was sometimes depicted with the head of a falcon carrying the sun and a group of stars. Now, someone depicted with a head of falcon carrying the sun is an Egyptian god called Ra, and we have an R here. So after liberation, a word for liberation, we put Ra as defined by all of this. He was sometimes depicted with the head of falcon carrying the sun. All of this gives us just the 2 letters. And the answer is going to be a group of stars. Now, liberation can be abbreviated lib, like women's liberation. And if you put lib before Ra, we get Libra, which is a constellation, a group of stars. Okay, 2 answers to go. So 14, many a picture of magician, he's on the outside. Many a picture, a word that fits here. Many a, again, just cluing that it's a plural answer. So we're going to have an S here. Magician is a mage, is a magician. So M-A-G-E inside there. And that has on the outside the word is, not his. So we have to remove this H here. This H is not serving any purpose. It would be here, outside the grid. So many a picture of magician is on the outside is going to be the corrected clue. H is the extra letter here. And the word is the answer is images, many a picture. And lucky last is 15. So let's see. Somewhat apathetic and lethargic sport of light. Now, somewhat or just the word some is often indicates a hidden word. So take some of the following words, but not all of it. And inside these words, we have the word candle, which fits here. And that was correct, as we see there. So candle is not a spot of light. So we have to remove something, and a spot has a lot of, obviously candle is light, so nothing needed there, but it's not sport. And sport has a lot of answers. A lot of letters that can be removed. It could be port, but a candle isn't a port of light. It could be spot, a spot of light, but that's not, candle is not a spot of light either, but it is a sort of light. So you remove the P here, we get sort of light. Somewhat apathetic and lethargic sort of light, sorry. So that's the definition for candle there. Now that we have the entire grid, we can start highlighting some of the letters here. And the reason I didn't want to, I could have just highlighted it as we go, but then I would have to scroll back and forth. I don't like that. So I'm gonna try to highlight it in a color that we can actually see. Maybe this is good. Yeah, this seems good. Green. So yeah, it's fine. So let's go through the clues again and see what we removed from which clue. So one very vertical line, perhaps a line on a meteorologist's map. We did nothing to this clue. This was just isobar. Ways to ward off an aggressive attacker for a Galilean bearing child. Again, this was a straight answer. Ino Wachowski from chair. So chair we modified. We removed this C here. So let's see. So it's the first letter of the word. So we highlight one letter, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth word in the clue. So we have to highlight the fifth letter of the answer. Fifth word of the clue means highlight the fifth letter of the answer, or starting from the fifth letter of the answer. Well, in 6 across, that's the last letter. Fifth letter is here, is A. Then we have fruit, one eaten by eking. So eking was modified. We removed this E here, and that is the first letter. So we are highlighting one letter, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the fifth letter of the word durian is going to be highlighted. So it's this one. Then we have join lewd production. We did nothing to this one. Filmmaker Wachowski turned out to be obsessed with accuracy. We did nothing to this one. Dead. So the word dead we did modify. We removed this E here. So that is the second letter. That means we are highlighting two letters, starting from the first one, because this is the first word. So two letters of St. Paul starting from the first. So it's these two then. Then 13. After liberation, he was sometimes depicted with the head of a falcon carrying the sun and a group of stars. We didn't modify this one. Many a picture of magician. He's. So this he's we did modify. So it's the first letter and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we highlight one letter starting from the sixth. So it's this S here at the end. And then somewhat apathetic and lethargic sort of light. So we modified this one, removed the second letter. So we're highlighting two letters, starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So starting from the fifth, we are highlighting two. So this is the fifth of candle, and this is the sixth. So these two are highlighted. And that is our across answers highlighted. Now we're going to look at the down answers. Bushman's been given promise of spaying. So the spaying was modified into paying. So the first letter is removed. So we are highlighting one letter starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So starting from the sixth letter of Suan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Highlight that one. Then we have 3 down. Motorist bothered pirate. So this was irate. So we removed the P here, removed the first letter. That means we are highlighting one letter, and that starts from 1, 2, 3. So this is the third word. So we're highlighting the third letter of the answer. So the third letter of bikey is going to be this one. And yeah, highlighting one letter, starting from the third. Then partial is around gelders. So this was modified into elders. So again, remove the first letter, meaning we have to highlight one letter of the answer. And this is again 1, 2, 3. This is a third letter, a third word of the clue. So we're highlighting the third letter of the answer of this roundel. So ROU. So this is the third one. And now 7 down. Extreme case of despair. Charlie swallowed swine. So this swine was modified into wine. So we removed the first letter. This means we are highlighting one letter starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're highlighting only the seventh letter of this drastic. And it's a 7-letter word, so the final letter is here, the C. Then award for old film star. This was a normal clue. We did nothing to that. And then bone. Bone we modified. We took out the first letter of the first word. So we are highlighting one letter starting from the first. So just the first letter here. And that is our highlighting done. Now the preamble didn't say anything about what to do with this highlighting. But let's get rid of all the other letters in the grid and see if we can come up with the answer there. I'm gonna remove everything here. So these are going to be the important squares, the ones that we highlighted. Now this does form a puzzle, and maybe you can see it immediately. If you can't, there are a couple of hints. First of all, we haven't really explained why this puzzle is called problem solving in free fall. What could that describe? Something that is falling down. Like for example, these are falling down, and we have to solve problems with them. And another clue is here in the tags. We have a video games tag. So does this look like a video game? And the answer is yes, of course it does. It looks like Tetris. So Tetris has these falling pieces, and you have to make complete lines with them. Now, if we solve this so that we can form complete lines, as in Tetris, this is very straightforward. You don't even have to turn these pieces around. So this piece would just go here, and then this T piece would go here, and that would form two complete lines. If we do that, we put this NA here and this ST here, and then we would put this KAU here, and this A would be here. And that spells out our answer, Kaunas Castle. That is our destination. And remember, we were looking for a medieval stronghold built at a strategic location, which now functions as a museum. And if we look up what Kaunas Castle is, I think where'd it go? There it is. Kaunas Castle is a medieval castle in Kaunas in Lithuania. And here we have a picture of it. So that is Gladys's destination at this time. So she's in Lithuania in a castle, and we can actually see where we're going in the map as well. So open up the map. So last time we were in Romania. We were in Hoiabaciu Forest. Before that in Kotor, and now we are in Lithuania. So we've gone all this way to Northern Europe, and it looks like we are going this way now. Came from Africa and we're going north on the European continent. So that's how you solve problem solving in Freefall. Now let's look at what our next puzzle is going to be called. And actually I remember it's called Round and Round the World. You can see it here, Round and Round the World. So we're going to have another crossword. It's going to be a circular crossword, not a cryptic one, just standard cryptic, standard crossword clues. And yeah, obviously round and round, you're going to be solving a round crossword, a circular crossword. That's going to be what we have up next. So that's going to be episode 17, and I will see you there. And for this one, thanks for watching.